Today we're going to go ahead and do a little review on Oceania, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, and Antarctica. So this is going over the pages you guys read yesterday and the pages you're reading today so that you can complete worksheet quiz number 35. Okay, so now the Oceania area, as the guy explained when you guys watched that video, is basically 20,000 to 30,000 islands in the Pacific Ocean. And these are all little islands, as little teeny tiny dots you can barely even see on the map, to as big as Australia and New Zealand and Papua New Guinea. Now that area or region is broken into three main groups, and that's Polynesia, Melanesia, and Micronesia. Now, New Zealand has the capital of Wellington, and the first settlers were called Morris people. And after Captain James Cook claimed New Zealand for England, the English settlement began there. And now missionaries started bringing the gospel over to the Morris people and telling them about the gospel. Papua New Guinea has a city of Port Moresby, and there are more languages spoken in Papua New Guinea than any other country in the world. And Mount William is located there, and it is the highest island peak in the world. And mission work also began there in the early 1850s. So people were bringing the gospel over there at that time. Well, we already talked a little bit about how Antarctica is entirely below the equator. It's the only continent with no permanent inhabitants, and it's also located at the bottom of the earth, which we know. We also know it is the coldest place on earth. And in 1770, Captain James Cook was actually the first man to sail around the Antarctic Circle. Now, the interesting thing is there was a possibility that where people had landed kind of on Antarctica, or they touched base at the location of Antarctica or parts of it, but they really didn't claim it or go on to Antarctica at that time. Not until like the 1800s, like the middle 1800s. And so not until 1911 did Ronald Amundsen, Amundsen, I think, was the Norwegian explorer that reached the South Pole. Now, there was like a little fight from him and another guy trying to get there, and he got there first. And the other most important thing that we know about Antarctica is that it is the home of the emperor penguin, along with other species of penguins, and along with a lot of other wildlife species that only live in Antarctica. Also, Antarctica is just covered in sheets of ice. It is actually one of the largest deserts, and it's kind of funny because we talked, or the video talked about how the desert isn't just sand, but it's wherever no water actually takes place. And you would think that there would be a lot of water in Antarctica, but no, because it doesn't melt. It's so cold that it never actually melts. So that's why it's considered a desert. Now, this is one of the last inhabited kind of regions around the world, is Oceania. And it's interesting because you would think it would be a country, but really it's a whole bunch of little countries. Some are inhabited by different or settlements of like Europe, Europeans, Englishmen, different people came over to those areas and claimed those little islands for different countries. Some are ran by the United States, some are still under English rule. So there's a lot in that area. It's a very mixed, cultural, diverse area, and it's kind of left out a little bit. But we wanted to touch base on that area because Antarctica and Australia, as well as all the islands of Oceania, are a big part of our world, and we definitely want to make sure we touch base on them. And I hope that you enjoyed learning about this area and watching some of the videos and learning about all of the Oceania and Antarctic area. Okay, so now what you guys can do is press pause on the next screens, as they will help you fill out that worksheet. And you also have a map on the back, and you will go ahead and look at page 302 to help you out with that map of Polynesia, Melanesia, and Micronesia.